Good day to you, and welcome to another edition of Primetime Sports Talk. I'm the Deacon David Shealy alongside Rashad Milligan. Rashad, you had one word for this. What is it?
2 words, actually.
2 words.
And that is March Sadness.
March Sadness. Okay, one and done is my word. One and done is exactly what the Georgia State Panthers basketball team did. They lost to Texas State in the first round of the Sun Belt tournament. They were the defending Sun Belt champions.
They're defending a tale of 2 seasons. You know?
Yeah, I mean, and it's really a heartbreaker, especially since a guy by the name of Bobby Conley for Texas State hit a game-winning 3 with 2 seconds left on the clock. Kevin Ware tried to put up a half-court shot, didn't have a chance. And Georgia State they're done. That's it. And especially with seniors Kevin Ware and Jaylen Brown, Marcus Kreider, TJ Shipes, that's a career for those guys.
Yeah, it's definitely tough. We saw a full circle of just basketball and how the Georgia State basketball program has gone in the last 365 days. You talk about last year, they not just winning the regular season Sun Belt tournament, but redeeming themselves after last year, finishing that unfinished business and winning the Sun Belt tournament championship game, going to the tournament, without Ryan Harrell, and still beating number 3 seeded or 2 seeded, Baylor at the last second, and then to come back next season struggling the entire year and losing the first round to a lower seeded team at the last second.
Yeah, it's a heartbreaker.
It's crazy. It's
heartbreaker.
Definitely.
So focusing in on this game, what are your initial thoughts?
My initial thoughts, just focusing on this game is, it's the same thing of what we've seen all season. That's what Coach Hunter said after the game, and that's how I feel about it. Just another chapter of sad Atlanta sports endings, unfortunately, in postseason play. Last night was just not a night memorable if you're a Georgia fan of any college team. Georgia Tech lost. They were eliminated in postseason play. Georgia Southern lost. They were eliminated in postseason play. And Georgia State lost.
Yeah.
So it's just...
And the Hawks lost.
And the Hawks lost.
Yes.
So it was just a very Georgia sports day for Atlanta sports and Georgia sports history.
Yeah, and I think for me, my initial thoughts, we're going to break this game down into 2 halves. Yeah. Okay, first half, Georgia State did a tremendous job shooting about 52%.
Yeah.
Texas State only shot about 36%. Yeah. Flip it. Second half, complete reverse of the tables. Georgia State only shooting 39%. Texas State shooting, it says 65%. They shot 65% and 66% from the three-point line.
Those guys didn't want to go home.
They wanted it more.
That's exactly what it comes down to in the postseason. Who wants it more? These guys obviously didn't want to go home.
Yeah.
And they turned it up a notch, and they did not miss virtually, it felt like, in that second half. On the comeback trail, they never gave up. They were down by double digits with only a few minutes to go. Yeah. It seemed like, we were getting ready for UT Arlington in that game plan, but,
Well, okay, I want to bring this up.
Yeah.
Because this is something we've touched on before.
Yes,
we've talked about first half play versus second half play, and you basically had this whole soliloquy about how Georgia State has had this problem playing in the second half, and it hasn't been enough. And you were right. I mean, just to keep it plain and simple, you talked about first half, big effort, and in the second half, it was kind of being relaxed and whatever. Now, in that particular game, I said Georgia State was up by 19. Yeah. So Georgia State kind of took their foot off the pedal because that's just what you do. Yeah. But I also recognize that if they were to take their foot off the pedal and then mess up and do the second half and be completely lazy, then they were going to lose, and that's what happened. But I want to give credit to you, man.
Oh, thank you.
You were right.
Thank you.
Yeah, you were absolutely right. So I guess you can toot your own horn a little bit if you want to.
Well, my thing with that was, even at that episode, even although we were up by 19 in the first half, it was same story that we've seen, same plot all season long. Against this team, against this team, against this team. They always just had this thing in the back of your mind. You have to think that's going to come back to bite them at the end of when these games get more and more important. And that's exactly what happened, unfortunately, last night.
Yeah, especially when you have a 13-point lead.
Especially, it was always like Jeremy Hollowell, Kevin Ware have great first halves, and then just in the second half, just hello, where are you? That wasn't the case last night with Jeremy. I don't want to beat Jeremy up too much.
No.
Leading
he
scorer,
did a good job.
He showed up. Leading scorer showed up.
And let's talk about Jeremy a little bit.
Yeah,
I mean, Jeremy Hollowell had 16 total points, and so did Jeff Thomas, which was a little bit of a surprise. Jeff Thomas turned up a little bit. 4 threes.
a blast from the past. You know, at the beginning of the year, we thought Jeff Thomas might have been that player to, for RJ.
Yeah.
Coach said he didn't miss him, told the light skin joke. But, you know, he kind of disappeared from us most of the season and was inconsistent. But he showed me, like, you're speaking of the second half, Jeff Thomas made a move with a few seconds, a scoop layup, a fake, you know, pulled a little Kobe post move on him. And it's something that I haven't seen from Jeff. I didn't know he had ice in his veins. Hit the shot, clutch the last few seconds. Unfortunately, that didn't win the game.
Yeah.
But, yeah, props to Jeff Thomas.
And I want to say this, too. Coach talked about how Jeff Thomas put a lot of pressure on him.
Yeah, definitely.
He called him the reincarnation of R.J. Hunter.
Yeah.
That's a lot. I mean, RJ, Sun Belt Player of the Year, first-round selection.
Yeah.
That's a lot. And Thomas was in the room when he said that. I mean, Thomas was put under a lot of pressure. And I think tonight he showed what Ron Hunter was talking about.
Yeah.
But, it wasn't enough.
It wasn't.
And
unfortunately.
Next year, maybe.
We
might see it.
I'm very excited for the future of this program. I will say that.
Yeah.
Next year. Even next year.
Well, okay, let's talk about next year then, because we got somebody coming in here.
Yeah. Oh, next year we have the 4-star recruit from Gainesville High School, formerly Beaufort High School, the guard forward. He plays all the positions, but he's probably going to play guard at Georgia State. DeMarcus Simmons. DeMarcus Simmons is about 6'4", 6'5". Kid can dunk. Kid has post moves. He plays defense on the post, gets rebounds. Is a great passer. DeMarcus Simmons, you know, the highest rated player that Georgia State has ever got straight out of high school. I know Ryan Harrell was a 4-star, 5-star recruit in high school based on, you know, which college site you're reading, which recruiting site. But this guy, you know, he didn't transfer like Ryan Harrell did. He came into the program straight on. So we also have Chris Kirkley. Chris Kirkley is a 6'9" power forward. He played a little AAU ball with DeMarcus Simmons. So, you know, it's going to be great to have that size coming in. You got Malik Ben-Levy getting older, Austin Donaldson getting older. You still have Jeremy Hollowell. Yep. Things are looking bright.
And then we've got Willie Clayton coming in.
Oh, yeah, Willie.
Willie Clayton, I'm going to pull a Stephen A. Smith. He's a dear friend of mine. Okay, we stay on the same floor in the apartment complex that I'm at. And Willie Clayton averaged 7.3 points and 6.3 rebounds when he went to UNC Charlotte a couple years ago. He transferred here. He was out this year because due to NCAA rules, you can't just start playing. So he'll be in next year. He's 6'7", and that man can crash the boards.
Yeah.
He's a big guy. He'll be a big presence in the paint, which is what Georgia State I think was lacking. You have T.J. Shipes and Marcus Kreider.
Yeah.
However, they weren't that big body that was in the paint. They weren't Sean Law.
Yeah, exactly.
So and now we have kind of the Sean Law. And then I think last show we talked about how Jeremy Hollowell is 6'8", but likes to take the jump shot a lot.
Yeah.
He doesn't really have to put the ball on the ground anymore, because I was demanding that he put the ball on the ground and move towards the rack.
Right.
And he could make something happen because he's one of the biggest guys on the court.
Right.
But now that Will is there, if he wants to take the three, if he wants to take the elbow jumper, whatever he wants to do, and he misses it, Willie will probably get the rebound and either put it back up or go back to Jeremy.
Yeah.
But there's going to be some big bodies on the court.
Right. Chris Kirkley, along with him. You got to replace the Crash Bros, as you said. Those guys weren't big-bodied. But I just want to clear something up. You talked about Sean Long. Sean Long, that's big shoes to fill. If you're just talking about structure versus actual, I don't want to call it skill, but just all around, you know what I'm trying to say.
I mean, I'm not comparing Willie straight to Sean. I'm just saying Sean's a big guy.
Yeah, Sean's a big guy.
And we didn't have a big guy. At Georgia State, there was no big guy, and Willie's going to be the big guy. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying he's going to be the new Sean. No, I'm not, because then that'd be just trying to compare him like that.
Right.
And that's not what I want to do. That wasn't my intention.
Right.
I'm just saying a big body's coming to Georgia State.
Right. And what happens when Willie comes out the game?
Oh, then we go small.
We go small?
Georgia State just goes small. I mean, they did it this year anyway.
Right. And the year before.
Yeah, so, I mean, think about it. I mean, when you had Dennis on the court, Williams, Donaldson, Ware, whatever, those guys were small, and we're just running.
Right.
And it's all about getting up and down the court, using your speed, and then using your skill. Now, unfortunately, Georgia State wasn't that good at shooting, and offensive power wasn't there. But when they go small, hopefully next year, it'll be there. That's all I'm saying. Right. I'm not saying that Georgia State is going to be screwed as soon as Willie Clayton gets in foul trouble, or Willie Clayton, he can't do anything. It's just having a bad game. Right. Georgia State can go small because they've been going small all year this year.
Right. And the year prior.
Exactly.
Right.
So, no, I'm not worried about what happens when Willie sits down. I'm not worried about that at all. But getting away from the future, we got to go back to the past. Let's blast back to the past. That's what I meant to say. We got to give out some game balls. Even though Georgia State lost, we got to give out the game ball. Go ahead and hand this to you.
All right.
And here's the marker. Who gets the game ball?
It's been a great season. I just want to say that for Primetime Sportz Talk.
Yeah.
You know, I got to sit with my good friend David Shealy a couple times. My good man in the control room, Joey Redmond. What's up, Joey? Isaiah Dennis, he had the keys to the Mercedes.
And I'm from Indiana. Don't forget
David
that.
is from Indiana. Free throws are fundamental to winning games. Just had to get that out the way.
Fourth grade basketball.
Now, I want to clarify, this game ball will not go to Madison Newby. Although I wish I could, Sunbelt Player of the Year, Sunbelt Freshman of the Year, excuse me.
Yeah.
I can't. She didn't play in this game.
No.
So I think I'm going to give it to, as I said earlier, Jeff Thomas.
Okay.
Jeff Thomas tied for the lead scorer on the team last night, and he hit that clutch shot with a few seconds. I had no idea he had it in him. He stepped up in the biggest game of the year. Shouts out to Jeff Thomas. Better luck next year. You'll be a sophomore. Who do you have, David?
I'm going to have to agree. I'm going to have to give it to Madison Newby. I mean Jeff Thomas. I'm going to give this to Jeff Thomas because he showed up and he really disappeared, and we've been waiting for this for a long time. Jeremy Hollowell's had a lot of games, even though he scored 16 just like Thomas did. We've been waiting for Thomas to do this for a while.
Right.
We really have. And I'm really excited. I think that more than just showing up in that one game and having ice in his veins, it was foreshadowing for next year. I think next year, Jeff Thomas is really going to show up. I'm not going to say Sunbelt Player of the Year. I'm not going to say...
Definitely.
I mean, maybe in the running, maybe in the running, but I think he will absolutely be an offensive force.
His name is Jeff.
Or, yeah, my...
But I think
that was you had to say? That was your comment?
Well, I mean, you know, his name is Jeff.
His name is Jeff.
His name is Jeff.
But of all the things that come out your mouth, right, at that particular moment.
Jeff is, you know, it's an awesome name, you know. I personally have the first name of Jeff, if you didn't know. So, yeah, Jeff Thomas, I feel like he's coming on strong, as you said, foreshadowing to the more serious point. But Devin Mitchell also coming in the fold. We haven't mentioned him. I don't know how he plays. I assume he kind of looks like a scorer, just like looking at him. Do you know anything about Devin Mitchell?
Well, Devin Mitchell transferred from Alabama. As you know, Alabama fired their basketball coach coming into this season. Right. So he was like, I need to leave. So he came back home to Georgia. Now he's at Georgia State, of course. Right. And he is a shooter. He can score. He can shoot threes. Okay. So he will be an offensive force. Two guard, by the way. And yeah, I mean, he's not, and he's Willie's roommate. So he's also a dear friend of mine.
Chemistry.
Yes, chemistry. So chemistry will be there. I think Devin will help out. Isaiah Williams.
He'll still be in it.
He'll still be in it. So there's a lot of pieces going into next year. I think we should be looking forward to a good year from Georgia. I think Georgia State will be, quote unquote, back.
They're on the way back.
They're on the way back. If not this very next year, then the year after that. Definitely. I think Georgia State is on the way back. But watch out, because Georgia Southern's also got some young guys. Yeah. They should be very
Southern's like entire starting lineup are freshmen and sophomores.
Exactly.
So Southern will be out there, but we'll be there too. Southern. Real GSU. 34-7. Never forget. Never forget.
34-7. And let's just say this, okay? Primetime Sports Talk is not ending, even though the basketball season is over.
Unfortunately.
Okay, we're trying to work on maybe we'll be covering some baseball, but definitely when football season starts, we will be back. We will be sitting right here. We'll probably have a football right here. We'll be talking about some Georgia State Panthers football. We'll see what the Panthers can do on the gridiron, because last year Georgia State made its first ever bowl game.
Right. And maybe we could bring Connor's uncle on set with us. And have Peyton Manning in studio. That's just something to look out for. I called it first.
You think if we pull that off, that would be amazing.
Right.
If we pull that off. Right. But first things first, though. We got to get to being good anyway, to where Peyton Manning would want to come on here and talk about his
nephew.
Exactly.
Right.
But I mean, I'm looking forward to it. I'm sure you guys will be looking forward to it. I'm the Deacon David Shealy. This is Rashad Milligan. Thank you for joining us during Panthers basketball season. We'll see you possibly baseball season, but definitely for football season. Have a good day.